Hello, welcome to my fifth episode of my podcast. Quite new, so feel free to, feel free to give me some slack as we go through this. But I'm very honored to have you on board. Um, Feel free to introduce yourself and also what got you into Airsoft.
Yeah, so I'm Grinch. You know me on YouTube as Grinch041. And what got me into Airsoft was just finding it randomly on YouTube from those old See Out the Doggy videos. I would just watch them like, wow, I wonder if we have this in the States. And so I just started looking around and lo and behold, found the classic Walmart airsoft guns, the clear ones that just don't like to work half the time. And I'd say I've been playing for about 15 to 18 years.
15, 18 years. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about when I started. So that would have been 19 years ago, if my math is right. I started in 2003. And I was only in it for a few years. This is back in like high school, backyard type airsoft games and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It wasn't really serious at the time. I was playing over at near Wichita, Kansas,
Mm.
and got into it because I guess it was interesting, right? And
Yeah.
then after a few years, especially after I graduated, I started focusing on my career, and it ended up studying getting out of it. So I got out of it like it was like 2007, if I recall, but I haven't been in it consistently since. So I only
Yeah.
been in it as of recently as 2024, the beginning of this year. Holy
Yeah.
cow, it's almost 2025, isn't it? Anyway, the beginning of this year, 2024. So that's when I started getting back into it, and you can imagine the shock when I got back into it versus what I remember,
Yeah.
and drastic differences. Because if you started 18 years ago, then you're probably in the same boat as me regarding the type of technology that they had at the time, what you were exposed with,
Oh yeah.
and versus what it is now. Because
Yeah.
when I
Plastic gear.
started, yeah, plastic,
Yeah.
everything was
Plastic
plastic.
gearboxes. All the gears were plastic, and like you barely get like one hard game in, and then it would just break in half.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit more brittle at winter too. I
Yeah.
definitely found that out.
Yeah.
So, so that's cool. You started that long ago. Pretty cool. So you steadily saw the progression of the hobby throughout the
Yeah.
years to what it is today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would slowly just watch. Like it honestly just feels like a blur with how quickly Airsoft like has changed today. Like I remember like again with the Walmart guns, but then you get like go to like Airsoft GI or E-Vike, and you see these like $130 M4s that like they're still made of plastic, but they're made of the polymer plastic, so they're stronger. And then they got like the actual metal gearboxes, so they're more tolerable to the elements. And now we have HPA. And I just like, wow.
Yeah, with HBA, the sound that comes out of it, it's not exact as a real one, but I mean it's closer, right? You
Yeah.
definitely
It's
hear that pop, pop,
it's
pop.
kind of I've noticed that it depends on what you have on the what muzzle device you have. So as for like my honey badger, I have a suppressor on there. And I actually have Scotch Brite that I cut into strips. I just shoved it into the suppressor and it helps dissipate the air. And so
Yeah.
that's how like because you sat next to me and I've shot that thing, it's just like a little puff of air.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's just it's a little bit different feel because of course I only tried it like twice, and this was
Yeah.
within this year, so it's a different style. I mean, it's if you're into that, it's that's pretty cool. I mean, me, I'm kind of sticked with AEGs,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm more comfortable with because I can take it apart.
Yeah.
So, so a little bit more of a mechanic. But I mean HPAs, I mean they could be also mechanical as well. I mean, especially when you start dealing with like the components of the engine and stuff like that. and you have to tune it just right if I'm not too mistaken. So
Yeah, so I actually have two different HPA guns. So there's my Honey Badger, and that one runs off of like a little tiny 7.4 lipo battery, and that's what controls the trigger unit. And what's nice about that is that I can literally just jump into a little fire control, I guess you could call it like a little joystick in the stock, and I can literally adjust stuff on the fly if I need to, like my air pressure. Well, not the air pressure, but like how much air this engine's going to use, rate of fire, if I want full auto or 3 round burst, so stuff like that. But then my SR-25 that uses no batteries; it's all just the air coming out of it. But those
yeah,
are a little more difficult to tweak because you can't just immediately switch one setting to another. You actually have to take apart the engine.
yeah, yeah. Which if you're not savvy into that type of stuff, that can get kind of interesting, you
Oh
know.
yeah,
So
thank God for forums.
forums or the internet in that matter.
Yeah, just
So
internet in general.
yeah, it's definitely a helpful tool because like um when I got back into it earlier this year, I bought like my first AEG. It was Avalon, right? And
Yeah.
so I was curious about it. I didn't really look into forums, and with an engineering background myself, I like to tinker with it on my own without any
Hmm.
help, usually, right? That could be
Yeah.
kind of bad sometimes because you kind of figure out things on the fly and mess up, and that's how you learn. So I remember when I
Yeah.
took the spring out and it popped right out. I was like, oh, okay, that's
Yep.
what that thing does. So you know,
Yeah.
so that was kind of entertaining, but after tinkering around with it, I decided, okay, I'll just have someone professionally look at this, and then once they're done, because I actually had them do some upgrades. I actually had, I believe it was called the Gate Titan. I believe that's what it's called.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
I have
yeah.
I have that installed on my Avalon, and I also adjusted the trigger. So if you look at one of my short videos on my YouTube channel, you'll see that if I barely touch the trigger, it
Yeah, you have it
triggers.
set
I mean,
for you have it set for a hair trigger.
yeah, and there's a reason why. It's because on my first or two matches that I played
Hmm.
this year, my finger got tired.
Oh.
So keep in mind, I haven't played in a long time. So, but still, um, it, I didn't like that. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
so I need to have this adjusted. So I asked someone, can you? Well, actually, I had to pay someone to do this, but
Yeah.
someone adjusted it for me. And then once I figured it out, I was like, okay, that's how you did it, right?
Yeah.
So that's learning from that, reverse engineering. I ended up basically making similar modifications to my second AEG. And
Yeah.
it's, you kind of learn by observation and trial and error. So I mean
Yeah.
that's how I'm doing it. So even though I don't have much guns, I only have two M4s,
Hmm.
but they're highly upgraded. So
Yeah.
it's highly focused, if that makes sense. I'm hoping in the future I'll have a nice wall of displays of lots of toys, but unfortunately, I'm married, I have a child, and everything
Yeah.
I do has to be approved by Congress, essentially.
Yeah,
So
you got to go through your financial advisor.
yeah, exactly, right. So I either had the choice of getting multiple low grade guns or get um, one or two, but highly upgraded, and that's what I ended up, the path I ended up going. And I have no regrets because I mean,
Oh
as you
yeah.
well notice I'm doing pretty well
Mm,
on the equipment that I'm utilizing. So it's no complaints. I just hope in the future that I can be able to expand upon that.
yeah.
Um, but just give it time. I've only been back into the field for less than a year, so I shouldn't
Yeah.
be complaining.
Yeah, once you figure out how to work on a gun yourself, you can actually take like a cheap M4, like a G&G combat machine, and then turn it into basically a sleeper, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
Just throw like a Gate Titan in there, uh, better gears, better motor, a whole 9 yards, and you can show up to a like Fox, and people think, oh, he's just a rental. He's not gonna, that gun's not gonna reach me. And then you're picking guys off from across the field.
Yeah. And that was one of the things I learned when I got back into it. Because like back in 2003, especially, I
Hmm.
mean, the range on some of these things weren't there. I mean, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly, I think the longest distance one I had that could fire only fired up about 50 feet away. That's
yeah,
not very long of a distance, especially these days, because these days you can go up to 200, 250 as long as you have 1.5 joules going behind there.
yeah,
And so it's, as long as it's adjusted, adjusted correctly. But it's just outstanding of what you can do to these days. And
yeah,
so it's, pretty awesome hobby. I'm blessed to get back into it, but I just hope I can stay into it
yeah.
and
Because of
and
the foot.
expand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's another thing too.
Yeah,
And of course, I'm sure from previous episodes, people have already heard about my foot, and that in part being the reason why I'm kind of in the hobby to begin with, is because I had to literally exercise the foot and I didn't want to jog every day or anything like that. And
yeah,
I got tired of walking. So,
yeah,
you know, a colleague of mine that's in the medical field basically advised, hey, you're into guns. I mean, why not you just try airsoft? And that's what started that
yeah,
whole thing.
yep.
But I never actually had my foot fail um, when I stressed it, except one time. And I'm still kind of wondering how that happened. But anyway, one day my
Yeah,
foot actually did fail and it was embarrassing. And Spaz had to draw my butt out of there.
yeah,
So that was kind of interesting. But
yeah.
but the cool thing is I have the whole event recorded. So
Yep.
so one of
You're
these days when I'm not bored, I'll post it on YouTube and show, what exactly happened. But it was interesting. I was running and then suddenly dropped.
yeah, your foot
It's
decided to go union and take a break.
yeah, exactly. So but it was cool. Well, let me rephrase that. The attention on making sure I was okay, that was cool to see. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah,
just from Spaz and also from our own teammates, but it was also from the staff there too.
yeah.
So, they made sure that everything was fine. They proactively checked how I was doing, even later that day.
Oh yeah,
And so it was cool to see that. And I'll definitely give them credit for that, and definitely just be thankful that they're just more that how should I phrase this, that they're just there more than just to being there, right? If that makes sense, they're actually there to
yeah,
care, right? So especially when dire situations come up.
yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at my cat right now.
No, not a
She,
problem.
she she's just playing with I think an old spring right between my legs.
Well, you better be careful, especially how the military is going these days. That cat could potentially be trained to do stuff in military warfare.
Yeah, conduct
So
recon.
yeah, definitely. So I've been looking at your YouTube channel. Do you mind if we check that out?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So let me share my screen here. Give me a moment. Let's see. Let's do. Go. All right. Let me know when you can see the screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. Awesome. Well, check this out. The Grinch, your own YouTube channel. I love
Yep.
this this icon of yours. I mean, it's
The
so
the tactical Grinch.
yeah, exactly. That's pretty slick. I actually love to see that. Pretty cool indeed. And you got some videos here.
Yeah, that logo is actually brand new too because I actually have my old patch, but this is the old design, which I did completely by myself. And
Jeez.
but that new one, I actually kind of played around with the AI photo creators, and I just tinkered with it until I found the one that I liked.
Ah, nice. Yeah, and AI is becoming more and more involved these days. So
Yeah.
I'm sure as time goes on, that will literally be, of course, I'm not joking about this, but literally create the videos for you and you don't have to do anything.
Uh,
So,
I'll still edit my videos myself.
yeah, but you have some pretty good stuff here. If you don't mind, we can check one of these videos out.
Yeah.
This looks pretty cool. Hunting SP. Let's check this out. Yeah, were you able to hear that audio?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sweet. The Grinch. This is over at Airsoft Field.
Yeah, this is their marketplace or CQB area. Oh shit. Hey. Oh.
That, who's that? Who's in the Charizard?
Just one of the random players.
Players? Ah, okay.
Yeah, no way I really knew, so.
I think there's one behind this board.
Yeah.
He's down.
Okay, right around, right around, right around.
Oh, that's Spaz.
Yep, that's Bez right there. Hit. Oh, nice one. Blue, 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 blue.
Yeah, sometimes I say blue and they still shoot me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're pushing up pretty far.
Yeah, that's right behind the ref is right where the other team's spawn was.
Ooh.
Yep. Sorry, I wasn't sure that first one hit you. Yeah, I accidentally double tapped that guy. Hit.
Got your angle.
Yeah, got yours. This is actually my favorite part of the video, where me and Spaz basically just completely clear that maze area. You're good.
One on the very top, one corner.
And I love this because you guys are coordinating.
Yeah. Hit. Right in my hand, bro. That hurt. You're good. Index.
Nice.
But yeah, the thing with that rifle I was using that day, the gearbox actually blew up on me at the very last game of the day.
Ah, man, don't you hate it when that happens?
Yeah, so I'm trying to decide if I'm just gonna replace all the gears in it or just HPA it.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, man, it's just how you coordinate, especially with Spaz on that. It's just pretty cool to see.
Yeah, yeah. Me and him played together so much now that we can pretty much just work off of each other without really saying much.
Yeah, because you know each other's tactics and
Yeah,
maneuvers and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, that's quite common, especially in um, teamwork that actually happens.
yeah.
That's super cool. And then and how long ago did you started, or how long ago did you meet Spaz? Out of curiosity.
I met Spaz, I want to say about a year or so ago, and uh, yeah, I just like you, I met him randomly at a airsoft game. Me and him, we were just trading kills all day long, and he eventually
Yeah.
just came up to me and was like, "Dude, I gotta play with you like a lot more often," and it just we just started hanging out a lot more.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because me, it was in the line. And as a matter of fact, I'm not sure. Well, you could have heard the story already because I
Yeah,
mentioned it like on the first two episodes. But yeah, I mean, and I'm not trying to praise him, but I mean, he did push me to the brink of coming back, if that makes
yeah,
sense. So, after not playing for so many years, I went out to Fox for the first time on my own. No, no friends, no one, essentially. I just showed
yeah.
up
Same.
and, and no one hang out with me or anything. I was on my own table, did my own thing. And then came home that day and was talking to my wife, telling her, should I even continue? I mean, I don't know. And she encouraged me to
Yeah,
go back. And then when I went back the second time, that's when I met Spaz in the line.
yeah.
And so once he found out that I was kind of newish, he invited me to tag up with him during the matches.
Mm,
And that's how all that got started. So, I joke about this a lot, but it's actually true too. I mean, in a way, he's kind of responsible why the channel even started, right? My
yeah,
YouTube channel. And also in a way, you're also kind of responsible for that got me into the first showing up the first day, right? Because I ended up researching Fox Airsoft on YouTube, and one of the videos that came up was yours,
oh,
actually. Yeah, and it was with if I remember correctly, it was before they closed down the field and they built that prison, if I remember right. It was one of those videos. So you had long
oh.
distance and you
Okay, it
were
was
kind of
you're
sniping.
yeah, you probably saw either the urban area or the big wooded area they had.
Yeah, I just remember you were on the edge of that map, and I think it was urban, but you were on the edge of it,
Yeah,
and you were sniping people from that position.
yeah,
And And so when I saw that, that looks cool, and
yeah,
through your videos, I took some notes and try to analyze what would be appropriate gear to get, what would be some of the weapons I need to purchase, stuff like that.
yeah,
So it's kind of a small world because, I ended up meeting you by accident anyway,
yeah,
and we actually exchanged kills multiple times in multiple different games. I didn't even realize that was even you until Spaz mentioned it on one of the video releases that I did. And matter of fact, let me show you that. I mean, it's just funny as hell. um that one of the videos that I posted.
yeah, yeah. I that's actually how Spaz introduced me to you was by showing me sending me a link to that video. It's like, dude, my buddy got you on camera. I was like, oh, he did?
Yeah, it's just crazy because I look through my video footage and I have you and me exchange kills quite often and multiple
Yeah.
different times. And but I never posted them. This was the first video I actually posted where you're actually in it.
Hmm.
And ironically, it was
Wait until you.
literally the first engagement. So I'm going to be showing my video here. It's called Master of the Art of Flanking in Airsoft. It's very basic. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't really have to be into the military to understand how flanking works,
Yeah.
but but I was just showing some of the things I've been doing to that basically indicate how that works, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, bud.
So was this video before or after you got your hair trigger set up?
That would have been this video was recorded after my trigger was adjusted.
Okay.
So if you notice, especially when I've been firing, I mean, it's like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
actually
that
trying to figure that out. I'm like, you're shooting pretty fast. And I knew Avalon's already shot pretty quick out of the box. So it was a little difficult to tell from there. I was like, I think that's his hair trigger setup.
It is, and it's awesome because very, very little how should I say, muscle movement is required.
Yeah,
But at the same time, there's a drawback to this setup is that sometimes players think you're overshooting them intentionally. And then in
yeah,
my case, when I only have a second or two, I'm literally hitting the thing two, three times within that second or two, and it's firing that quickly. So
yeah,
it's not as if I'm intentionally doing it. It's just the response time on the trigger is what's causing that.
yeah,
And I like that because, well, I don't like the people receiving the hits, obviously, but what I'm talking
yeah,
about is like when I'm firing, I like that because then I know, if you do mathematics, I mean, I know a shot's going to hit you regardless.
yeah,
There's no question.
yeah,
And sometimes there's mistakes on that where you open fire once and you think you got him, you didn't, and the guy returns fire and you're dead. Right.
yeah.
So this kind of eliminates that scenario.
Mhm.
And then let's see if I can get it back here where I actually had encountered you. Yep, it's right about right here. So right in the very beginning of the video.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yep. There I am running the HPA Honey Badger. I think that was the very first time I had it HPA'd that day too. So I was more or
Yeah,
less just experimenting with it.
it's very cool because like I mean if you look back at what I'm doing, it's very basic tactics.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm literally just suppressing fire while I'm moving forward to keep you
Yeah.
from looking.
Yeah. You can actually like I saw you, but then as soon as those BBs started hitting the wall in front of me, I'm like, crap, I gotta duck back down. And honestly, when I saw you running up, like, I'm dead. I'm gonna try and take him with me.
Yeah.
But you were
It's
just quicker on the trigger.
yeah. It's just that response time. So
Yep.
it's so that was pretty cool. I didn't know that was you, and then when I released the spaz, I was like, dude, that's the Grinch. You took the Grinch out. And I told him, "Are you serious? That's the Grinch." Because I mean, I have you on as a subscriber, or I'm one of your subscribers in your channel, and I
Yeah.
added myself to your channel. I think it was before, yeah, it was obviously before the first visit I did with Fox. So, you're kind of one of my role models, if that makes sense. And then I ended up encountering you in the field. And then after I realized that was you and Spaz pointed you out, that's when I looked at my video archive and I confirmed that we've engaged multiple times
Yeah.
and we had several exchanges.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wow, I mean, that's pretty cool. The people that you follow, you actually did meet and you didn't realize it, and then you kind of confirm it later.
Yeah. And I think what threw you off was that you remember my older videos where I'm always wearing some kind of ghillie suit.
It's a ghillie suit. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's what threw you off. You didn't recognize me.
That's correct. Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't put two to two together. And then,
Yeah.
but once Spaz pointed you out, I was like, oh, okay. Now I'll look at my video footage because like that rushing that I do,
Yeah.
I do that a lot, and
Oh yeah.
I'm not like Spaz. I'm kind of like a hybrid. So if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I only rush if I feel I can take an advantage of the situation.
Hmm.
So I've in previous video archives that I have of you, I would rush the hallway and you would be there and we both would take each other out.
Yeah.
And there was instances where we're giving each other fist bumps. You actually returned my fist bump.
Yeah.
So that was, realizing that was you. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. You know. And then
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I trade with somebody, I'm like, dude, that was awesome. Great tactics. Good kill. And I try to be as positive as I can on the field.
oh yeah. And I've certainly noticed that. I mean, you're one of the good players. And
Yeah.
showing good I'm trying to think of the English word, good sportsmanship. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Sportsmanship. Yeah. So that's cool to see because I've noticed that with other players on the field, some of them are kind of taking it really seriously.
Yeah.
Like for example, oh, I hit you, you didn't hit me. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, come on, it's just a game.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
nothing to get serious about.
yeah,
And
I'll admit,
mistakes
like,
happen.
yeah, in some of my videos, you can probably hear me say under my breath, like, how'd you not feel that? Why did you take it? That kind of stuff. I never go and confront the guy about it. If it
Yeah.
happens like once or twice, I'm like, okay, I'll let it slide. But if I see the same player doing the exact same thing, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring this up with one of the refs.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I mean, because I mean, accidents happen. I mean, I have a
Yeah,
lot of video where you have people like wearing stuff like this,
yeah,
obviously, and you shoot them directly in the rig, right?
yeah,
And they don't feel anything. They keep going. You're like, what the hell? I hit you like twice,
yeah,
And then you start processing like, oh, okay, they probably intentionally or not intentionally, but they're probably not feeling it because of their gears, and don't
yeah,
take it personal. And you just have to you have to angle yourself in that way, the mental state.
yeah.
Because it's easy to get upset, especially on a hot day. I mean, I've seen
Oh
people
yeah.
yell at each other. I even got videos of people cussing each other out,
Mm,
and here I am thinking, it's okay, man. It's all right. And so I even had a recording of a guy who was like in his 50s, I think. He was literally cussing at I could have sworn it was a kid. It had to have been at
oh
least 14 or
jeez.
15 years old.
Yeah,
And it's just like, really? I mean, come on.
yeah,
But for the most part, the airsoft community is pretty welcoming, and that's where your blessing needs to be, even if you have a few bad apples. But for the
yeah,
most part, the field or the hobby's pretty good.
yeah.
So,
Uh,
um, but
But
in that particular case, um, out of curiosity, how did you come up with the name the Grinch? I'd be curious to hear about
um,
that.
so I actually started playing back in Utah because I used to live out there, but I was playing with a group of guys and it was the snow was coming down hard, like big flakes and all that. And I was at the time I was running around with a JGP 90 that I had downgraded to 300 feet per second. This was before we started going in joules. But yeah, and the snow was coming down hard, so the game mode we were playing, I believe, was attack and ambush. So I was on the ambushing team, and I just found a spot in the trail that the opposing team was taking, and I literally just laid down and just let the snow cover me, and I just laid there. I'm freezing my ass off. I'm just sitting there shivering, like, oh my God, hurry up. And sure enough, I hear them walking by in the snow. And I just wait for the last set of footprints to walk past me. And I just jump up out of the snow and just spray all these guys with one P90 mag. And they just turn around and see me stand there. And they're like, Where were you? And I just point to the ground right in front of me. And they're like, that is such a Grinchy move. And it just stuck.
Ah, it's stuck. Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Whenever I say my call sign is the Grinch, is everybody thinks I got it from oh god, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 because one of the characters' name is Grinch. And so everybody just
Okay.
assumes I got that from that. I'm like, nope.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, I was curious about that. So that's how you came up with the name the Grinch.
Yep.
Nice. Ah, very cool.
I
Yeah,
think the
that's
best nicknames you get are not ones that you come up with yourself. They're the ones that people come up for you.
yeah. Yeah. I I can easily see that. And especially when it comes to it sticking, yeah. People basically bring that up to your direction. Yeah. Yeah. Because in my particular case,
Special
and
guest.
oh, the kitty cat. Is he
And this,
trained?
no, she's not. She just does whatever the hell she wants.
Yeah.
Coffee. You think you're the queen of the castle?
Well, cool. Well, maybe someday you can train the cat how to do airsoft.
Maybe.
Ah, very cool. Yeah, because with my N5 call sign, it's kind of a hybrid of what you're bringing up, where people kind of name it for you. It not really
Yeah.
kind of. The only reason why I say kind of in my particular case is because N5 is part of my father's call sign
Hmm.
and ham radios. So that in combination of androids in Star Wars, if you're familiar with the androids, R2D2, there's one that's called
Yeah,
N5 as well. So in
the
my
clank
particular
is.
case, yeah. So in my particular case, that's what kind of stick to me, right?
Hmm.
Easily identifiable. So that's the name I start to use. And it's really easy because it's not as if it's a long word or anything like that. You just say N5 and let it and go
Yeah.
from there. So and plus you don't see that name very often.
No.
So I mean, besides what you guys know for me, I don't think anyone else even heard of that reference unless you're
Yeah.
really into Star Wars or ham
Yeah.
radios in that factor. But
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, as long as it sticks and it's identifiable, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely use it. And in your case, the Grinch, it's so easy to identify because there's no one else that I'm aware of that uses that call sign.
Yeah.
So
I've never run into a second person that calls himself Grinch.
Grinch, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool. And you actually embraced it too. And that's what's so interesting because like there's a video that you just recently posted. Let me see if I can bring that up.
Oh yeah, on
And
Instagram.
yeah, exactly. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, yeah, let me share my screen again. Give me a second here. This is like golden stuff here. So let me share the screen. All right, let me know when you can see it.
Yep.
All right, awesome. So this is your Instagram right here.
Yep.
And it's this guy or this video right here. Let's see if I can.
Yeah.
Whoops, clicked out of it. My bad, my bad.
User for a while. How you doing? Come on in.
That is like priceless because it's like you're walking into an airsoft store dressed up
Yeah.
and you just go get the you just get the BBs and you start walking out. And
Yeah.
like and what's so organic about this is that there was customers in there
Yeah,
and they look confused.
they
Like
walked in
it's
like right after I looked at the line of Specna M4s they had sitting by the employee door, and I'm like, oh, this is probably gonna make it even better.
yeah, because it looked
And I just
incredibly
played it.
organic. Because, if you look at their expressions, they're like confused, like, is he supposed to be doing
Yeah.
that?
And if you listen closely, the girl, as I'm about to walk out, she's like, "Can I get the door for you, Grinch?"
That's crazy. I mean, that was perfectly done, even some of it by accident. I mean, it just
Yeah,
rolled right into it perfectly, and
yeah,
it felt more organic.
yeah,
So, congrats for you and whoever was recording, because that
yeah.
that was perfect.
That was Caleb and the guy with the long hair. They were both employees over at the Fox Airsoft store in Parker. And Braden was so annoyed that he can do more, like make more little skits and stuff with that because they were working too busy working on people's rifles and doing custom orders and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, still, I mean, how did you organize that? Did you just simply call them up and say, "Hey, I want to dress up to Grinch and just take some stuff," or you
Actually,
just did it?
I literally just did it. I walked in, and the first thing Caleb sees is me walk in wearing the Grinch costume, and he just gives like a little like no way chuckle. And I'm just looking around, and I'm literally just trying to find. I'm pretending I'm picking up like parts and stuff. At the same time, I'm looking at like, okay, what can I do to really mess with them? And I turn, and you couldn't see it in the video, but they have a little Christmas tree over by the front door. I literally saw it. I put the stuff I was holding in my hands down, walked over, looked at it. I looked at Caleb. He's like, please don't. And I unplugged it, picked it up, and walked outside with it. And then he
That's
actually
funny.
went back. He actually went back to the guys in the back room and he said, the Grinch just took our Christmas tree." And everybody's like, "Yeah, right." And then one of the guys actually caught a glimpse of me walking out the door. He's like, "Oh, no shit."
That is funny. Funny as hell. I mean, pretty cool. Pretty cool. That you
Yeah,
really should do more stuff like that, honestly.
I
Because
do.
that ties to
Every
your identity pretty well.
yeah, every like December, Christmas, I want to try and do at least one little Airsoft Grinch video or Instagram post, something.
Yeah. Well, cool on creativity. I'll just say it that way. Good job. So out of curiosity, I mean, have you been doing video editing for long, or what type of software do you use for do your stuff?
So I got into video editing back in high school. High school. I took because my high school, I don't know if any other schools have this, but we had this class called TV video production, and I'm like, oh, that looks like it would be fun to do, and so I signed up for it, and it just stuck with me. I was like, in my group, I was the guy writing all the screenplays and doing all the editing, and I got so good at it that I was able to do muzzle flashes and ejected casings out of the fake guns that we were using for some of our action videos we were doing.
Nice.
And
Very
uh
nice.
and then once I started going out and playing airsoft, I'm like, I want to show my friends what this stuff is. And so I bought one of these cheap cameras. It was like a $30 camera that it just had like one little switch for on and off, and it'll just start recording. And it was like a 720p camera, and I had that literally duct taped to the side of my iPro.
Duct tape.
It's you can actually see the difference in quality if you look at like my very first video on YouTube. And but yeah, like even though it was a cheap camera, it was still getting me like letting me record video. And at first I was using the default video editing that you get on a any Windows computer,
Yeah.
which I think it's called Movie Maker or something like that. But now after that I moved on to Magic's Movie Maker, but now I use Final Premiere.
Final Premiere. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
familiar with that. Oh, very cool. That's awesome. Um, I use where's I'm gonna brain fart now, but I use Adobe Premiere Pro. That's the one I use.
yeah,
And and I also in the past have gotten to or into After Effects as well. And
yes,
I used to be able to render graphics pretty well.
yeah,
And of course, this was years ago, so I have to remember how I used to do things. And I might in the future, I might incorporate that into my videos.
yeah,
But everyone improves. I mean, I've definitely seen it in yours, and even with other members of our team. And I won't, to be fair, I won't mention the name of a individual in our team, but there was a person that was video editing, and it looked awfully bad. But as time went on, the videos were getting better and better.
yeah,
And I was very proud of the individual because I mean, it started off with very awful camera shots, very awful timing, not even synchronized on the video shots.
yeah,
But the person's gotten significantly better,
yeah,
and just seeing that progression is quite cool.
yeah,
And it's and we all start from somewhere, so
yeah,
it's um just the fact that that's your passion, you love to do it, and you're improving.
yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it was way different for me though when I started using multiple cameras. Because on my videos, obviously, you saw I have the head camera, I got the selfie camera, and I have the scope cameras. And obviously, when I first started, I just had the head cam, so it was easy just like kind of chop the video up when there's action going on and just put in some background music. Now I'm got three different views I got to switch between. Like, okay, how am I gonna, what am I gonna do for this view? What am I gonna do at this angle? Did anything funny happen behind me? Did anything happen like in front?
Yeah, and that takes time, especially if you're doing it manually.
Yeah,
There is applications or even hardware does this too, where you can actually synchronize the videos from different shots and it does it for you. And so you don't
yeah,
have to deal with manual work because I believe me, I know how that is because when I was merging videos from Spaz's video in mine, where one of the videos I posted of me and Spaz's co-op gameplay,
yeah,
that unfortunately I couldn't make it go through my pipeline on automation. So what I mean by
yeah,
that by pipeline, if you're into like programming, it's essentially like you have scripts in place that does stuff for you for
yeah,
deployment, where you don't hardly do anything as long as you have the pipeline created, and it just it makes it seem through or go through your productivity a lot more faster for production. But unfortunately, with Spaz's video, and of course, it's not Spaz's fault, but he was using a different camera, a different
yeah,
type of recording rate. Um,
yeah,
Even with all the juddering that it was fixed. I mean, if you look at the video, you can still see some juddering, but it was a lot
yeah.
worse than that.
I think I
And
saw like a tiny bit of screen tearing of it trying to keep up with the frame rate, but even then, you did what you could to make that video work.
yeah, yeah, and that was manual, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So that, but I made it work, and it turned out pretty well.
yeah,
So, um, but in order to make things, how should I say, better for perfection
yeah.
viewing, it just requires more dedication.
Mm,
So that's it. And everyone improves. And even myself. I mean, if you look at my videos when I first started posting to what I'm posting now, you could drastically see an improvement in a short amount of time.
yeah,
And matter of fact, the next video I'm going to be posting, not on the podcast side of it, but on the gameplay side of it, I'm already
yeah.
revamping and redoing the HUD effects completely.
Oh,
So
nice.
that it's going to be a little bit more realistic. And
Mm.
I found a way to record people's conversations on their frequencies.
Oh, on
So
comms.
on comms. So I'll be mixing that in as well. So it actually will
Nice.
feel more immersive, right?
Yeah,
So that's coming. And that's I'm hoping to release that sometime within the next 2 or 3 weeks. It just depends. I just moved and
yeah.
my equipment's all over the place and I'm trying to get
Just in
back on my
boxes.
feet. Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, I'm pretty excited for that to be released because it pushes my boundaries even further. And
Yeah,
each video you could clearly see that it's not a consistent on each release. It's not as if you're seeing the same thing. It's
yeah,
always something different. So
yeah,
that's what I love to do. And sometimes that's also kind of cool when you're in a team because if one member of your team is pushing themselves, others would like to follow, right?
yeah,
Because I definitely noticed that as soon as I started showing some of the video content I was doing, other members of our team were trying to duplicate, at least in some way.
yeah,
And that was kind of cool to see, where you kind of
yeah,
had an inspiration, right, for somebody else's
yeah,
creativity, and that's cool.
yeah.
And and hopefully that will continue to happen, unless I get
Mm.
hit by a bus.
Ugh.
But anyway, but enough
Uh,
on that, though. I mean, with your editing skills, I can clearly tell you're using those cross-aired effects. You're using
yeah.
multiple layers. I can clearly see that your timing is improved significantly
Hmm.
when I first started watching your stuff.
Yeah,
So I mean, you're in the same description of what I'm talking about.
yeah,
Self-improvement.
yeah. I'm just gonna throw my buddy out here, but he's the one that actually got me and showed me like the basics of doing scope camera footage. It's my buddy is K Factor 39, and he's been doing scope camera stuff way longer than me or even Novrich, I think. I think he's been doing the scope camera stuff way longer than them. And the way he used to do it is he would actually take like those old like big bulky video cameras, and he would mount it to the top of his scope, and he would just zoom it in probably I think like 5 or 6 times, and he would just use that to record his scope camera footage.
Yeah, I know who you're referring to. I actually follow him
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Hmm.
So he does pretty good stuff. And
Yeah.
I would love to have him on here too if he's ever interested.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would be. It's just him trying to find the time to do it because he's got, like you, he's got kids, he's got his family, and his work schedule is a little all over the place.
Yeah, I can yeah. I definitely know about the work aspect because sometimes I work very late at night,
Yeah.
which is in part the reason why we're recording as late as we are, because that's I mean, unfortunately that's the time
Yep.
frame I'm available.
Yeah.
So I'm great to have you on though. I mean,
Oh,
this is
I'm
pretty
glad to
cool. I
be
mean,
here.
love the how you learned the name or your name and especially the Grinch. I still find that pretty funny, but
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. But let's look over your Instagram account some more, if, so we can show the people more about you. All right, I got your account back up again,
Yep. I can see it.
so we can start checking out these photos. Oh, nice. When was this taken?
That was
What is
last
that? Is
month.
that duct tape?
No, that is it is tape, but it's called gaffer's tape.
Gaff. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. But
It's like,
this
that's pretty cool.
yeah, this was a couple months ago down by Alberta, or some little town out here in Colorado. But this was when Milsim West was doing an event here, and me and K Factor went and did it.
Nice. Oh, very nice. So this was recent. It was, well, recent,
Yeah,
depending on how you look at it. This is about 11 weeks ago.
yeah,
So that's pretty cool. And then check out this. Is that K Factor right there? Or no?
yeah. That's K Factor.
That's K Factor. Okay. So it's kind of a similar layout
Yeah,
um, than what you have. He even has
yeah.
his
He
GoPro
actually had to
taped up.
rush. He actually had to rush by all of his gear for Milsim West because they, from what we read, you're not allowed to be a sniper if it's your first time playing at Milsim West. From what was our understanding, so I we just both went as a rifleman.
Ah, okay, okay. So there's a certain qualification required.
Yeah.
Okay. And then this guy, ooh,
So
suspicious.
this was that was actually at work. So I was at the library watching the security cameras, and I don't know what was going on with this person, but they from my if you take a first glance at that, it looks like a tactical vest, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It in reality is actually one of those puff vests, and they have like these weird leather straps that they had on top of it, which made it look like a tactical vest. And so I was freaking out. And then once I found realized who it was, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, please don't ever wear that again.
And I can see why. I mean, just at first glance, I mean, unless you're really
Yeah,
paying attention.
yeah.
Ah, where was this photo taken?
So this was in Utah. I was at another event with K Factor, and so he actually brought his dog with him, and since his dog's so well trained, I was like, hey, how's about I put on like an actual like U.S. Army uniform, and we do some photos because if you click on the little arrow on top of the picture, there's multiple pictures in this post.
Oh, I see. Okay. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, it took some really good shots there.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorites right here.
Oh,
I'd like to see this. I mean, this is
yeah.
when I
So that
first
was
saw this, I was like, wow, that's cool.
yeah, that was me when I was doing one of my monthly National Guard drills, and we were doing weapon qualifications that day, in my squad I'm the saw gunner. So I was just trying to get a good sight picture before I went up and actually started shooting the thing.
Nice. That is so cool. And here's another interesting one.
Yeah. So I'm the one in the center using my Norwich SSG 10. K factor is the one that's on the right, or not the right, the
The
left.
left. Yeah.
Yep. And then on the right is another popular airsoft guy. He recently moved to Alaska, but he used to be out here in Colorado. But he's SFM One Punch.
Ah, nice.
And the three of us just teamed up for that whole day of airsoft.
Were you guys using comms at all?
No, actually, same thing with me and Spaz. Me and K Factor, we can just work together as a sniper team and not really talk.
Yeah. What's this?
Oh, that was when I hit
Ah,
100
when you hit
subscribers.
100. Nice. And that's pretty cool when you hit those milestones. I mean, I remember
Yeah,
when I hit 100 and I was like, did that really just happen?
yeah,
So
because you just post video after video after video and not really think about it, and then you one day you come back to your YouTube channel, you're like, when did that happen?
exactly, exactly. And then over time, you start noticing the patterns of how you're able to obtain more subscribers, and it just becomes natural, more
Yeah.
easier. Mhm. The great. That's kind of funny how you did that. Put a little
Yeah.
icon above the face, but that's still you, right?
Yeah. So this picture was actually a promotion picture because I was on a podcast um about a year or so ago with Trifecta
Oh,
and
Iraq.
yeah, Iraq. And so yeah, I was on that podcast and the only way I got on that podcast was thanks to K Factor. He put in a good word for me.
Yeah, Iraq's a pretty cool guy.
He
I was
is.
able to speak to him myself as well, and he's pretty chill. I mean,
Oh yeah.
and when I was in on his podcast, I had never been on a podcast before, right?
Yep.
And he made it really easy and welcoming. So that
Yeah.
was,
It
he's a
felt
pretty
like he
cool
was
guy.
yeah, it felt like you were just talking to like one of us,
Yeah,
basically.
precisely. Yeah, like one of the bros. Yeah. Yeah. And it's ironic because now, very shy, didn't was kind of iffy if I was going to get on his podcast or not. And then look at me now,
Yeah.
I'm doing my own. Now you can't make me shut up.
Yep.
So that's still cool. It's so cool. I'll have to hit him up sometime again. And oh, wow, this is interesting. You have a picture of your toys here, but on the next picture
Yeah.
over, it's a flight. It looks like on a plane. Oh, you're doing
Yes.
military training. Okay.
Yeah, that was me coming home from my 6 months of military training. So,
Yeah, well, that's cool. I'm sure you must have been pretty happy to get home.
oh yeah.
Oh, this must have been the big field at Fox.
Yes, the large field at Fox was my favorite field.
Ah, I just wish I was playing back then. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that was actually the first day I was using the Novrich ghillie suit, and that thing is awesome for woodland environments.
Oh yeah, I bet. I mean, I was looking at those myself. I want to get into that, but it's just with Fox and with their, not
Yeah.
with their current fields or maps they have now, you can't do a ghillie suit. It's not
Oh yeah.
practical.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do with a ghillie suit at Fox anymore.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But
I've heard rumors that they're supposed to open up. Not supposed to, but I heard rumors they're talking about having a second field. But
yes, I've heard those rumors as well. And honestly, I've thrown it out to the owner of Fox every once in a while, like, hey, there's this chunk of land out here that's not too expensive, and you guys could probably run a, if you guys can get a hold of it, just do a just buy it and set up your new field over there.
yeah, I just wish they would definitely do that. That would be pretty cool because then
Yeah.
you'll have more guys in ghillie suits.
Yep.
Look at this crew.
So this was a funny thing. So all me and all these guys, we were all running Noveridge gear, whether it be his ghillie suits, his guns, anything like that. And there was three of us wearing the ghillie suit, and all of us were running at least one of his rifles.
Yeah. Wow. And this was like, well, it had to have been years ago. I mean, look at the date
Yeah,
on
this was
this.
a couple years ago. This was when they still had the large field.
You know, man, it's like- maybe I should build a time machine, go back in time. Be like, hey,
Take me
Grinch,
with you.
you don't know me, but you're gonna know me in a few years. But I'm from the future, and I came back here to play the big field. So just ignore me. I'm just sitting around. So,
Then you come back and be
uh,
like, didn't I see you like 5 years ago?
yeah, 5 years ago with another guy that looked exactly like me but older. Oh, geez.
Or just be like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. You haven't aged a
Yeah.
day.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. And yeah, there was one other video I wanted to show the audience talking about teamwork. So there was a video that you provided to me, and it showed both you and me going down the hallway, and then I end up sprinting and sliding in.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, definitely like to show that since this shows more of the teamwork that you're describing. Bring it up here. Okay, bring this up. Share the screen. Here we go. All right, let me know when you can see it.
Yep.
All right. So this is the very beginning of the match,
Yep.
and we're all rushing in. Here's
There's
Spaz
Spaz.
doing the sliding.
Yep.
Keep going. No, no, no. Let's go.
I got you.
There you are. You're doing it right. You're right behind him.
Yep.
Hit.
There's me right there.
Yep.
Get up there, Ashley.
There's Ashley.
Yeah, she was actually running my AK that day.
Oh, did she enjoy it? Did it go well?
She seemed to like it.
Someone's huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
Like the Grinch. Grinch usually huffs and puffs. Oh, was that a brain?
I
Look
I
at that.
actually just noticed. I think that yeah, it looks like one of those
That's a
plastic
brain.
brains.
I didn't
Might have
even
been part
notice
of
that
the
until I like was looking on the video. Holy cow.
yeah. It might have been part of one of their game modes that they had going on that day, since it is the Halloween game.
Yeah. That is funny. Okay, so this is where we're rushing back in. I'm right there in front of you.
Yep.
Yep, another one. Oh yeah, I got you.
Go. Spaz loves his grenades.
Yeah, he threw it in there.
When you find his grenade, though.
Hit. All right,
Yeah, that guy right there.
Yep.
Shot you right in the behind.
Yeah.
hit. All right.
Right there.
Yeah. Yep. Barely see him through the bloody webbing.
I'm dead.
Oh, in my ass. Oh, all in my ass. That hurt.
You're still
Just announcing
complaining
it.
about, yeah, all the way out. That is awesome.
Well, like it's because the guy put like 5 rounds right in the same spot, so it hurts so bad.
Well, I have observed that, and I even done that myself by accident. Well, there's Ashley.
Yep.
Oh, it took like 5 rounds right in my ass.
You're still in Ashley. You just
That's
keep
just part of
bringing
my
it up.
personality. Like I could just keep running this. I'll run a joke to the ground until I get a good laugh.
Hit.
Did they pick the hallway?
No idea.
All right, back into the game.
Yep.
It's Mr. Spaz. You could definitely tell my response time on that trigger.
Yep. Yeah, I was actually using Spaz's P90 in this game, and I just switched over to my G36 because I don't know. There was something about his P90 that I
Oh,
just
now,
didn't
now he
like.
takes it? Dude, I put 5 rounds in him, he shot me, and then he took it. That's bull. He takes it?
Yeah, I recognize him.
Yeah, I think everybody was having an issue with him the whole day.
Yeah, and I had a similar encounter where I hit him multiple times, and
Yeah,
but on the fourth or fifth time he finally called it.
yeah,
But I mean, these things happen. I mean, not to shame anyone, but it's that's where you learn not to take it personal. And at the end of the game,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's just a game.
yep.
Hit. Oh, now he takes it? Dude, I put 5 rounds in him, he shot me, and then he took it. That's bull.
Was another one in the ass?
All right, someone's
just
reloading.
You like it, though?
I'm liking it. Wish I could afford another one, but...
You can't afford another one.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
the Grinch.
You plan on giving me one?
I mean, if I can, yeah, sure.
You just take it.
Just give me this one. Now HP the shit out of it.
We need to hold down the hallway still.
Yeah, we got one guy watching it, but... Yeah, get in there. Go. Whoa.
Yep.
Don't
This
bunch
is
up.
where we
Yep.
both coordinate. Yep, I
Yep.
recognize this scene. So watch this. I mean, we're in sync, and that's what's so cool about this this gameplay. So when you work with, I mean, just based on what you're describing earlier, when you work with or play with a person long enough, you kind of know each other's maneuvers.
Yep.
Don't bunch up.
Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. Want to call it for me? I'll take it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna move up. Can you follow right behind me?
Yep, I got you.
I'm not ready.
Go.
Put your hand on him.
Going down the hallway, and then I slid. I was able to knock out 2 people before I got hit.
Yep.
Yep. Oh. Dead man coming out. Dead man. Dead man.
You always gotta announce that when you're walking back to spawn, because then your whole team just light you up.
Yeah, no doubt, because that does happen. I've been guilty of that when someone's walking
Yeah.
past me because of my response trigger. I just immediately fire,
Yep.
and that's why it's always a good idea to announce. But regarding like the butt scene you were talking about, let me show you a video that I posted, which goes over that exact scenario. So let me see if I can get it up. Oh, I found it. Okay. So let me share my screen. So again, I didn't intentionally do this. All right. It's just that I was in a lower position. I'm
Yep.
angle up. So of course, naturally, it's anyway, I'll just let the video
Yeah.
explain. So let's go and bring this up. There we go. All right. So it's this video right here. All right. So just watch the reaction. The guy actually had a good laugh out of this.
Yeah.
And he was just enjoying it. He was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is funny," And I didn't mean to, but it's just the
Yeah.
angle.
Yeah. It reminds me of one of the shorts on my YouTube that I have where I was over at Dynamic for their monthly airsoft game, and one teammate was hiding behind a spool. I'm walking back to spawn. A friendly's hiding behind a spool, and there's a guy on the opposite team right on the other side of him, and the guy just comes around and shoots him twice in the butt.
Oh my gosh, this is funny. And again, these things happen, but it's
Yeah.
just that's why it's always important to make sure that you have at least some sort of protection ish,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in my particular case, I'm wearing multiple layers, so of
Yeah.
course I'm gonna feel it, but it's not so to say, it's not as painful as what it could
Yeah.
be. But I mean that's part of the hobby.
Yep. No pain, no gain.
Exactly, yeah. All right, well, cool, awesome. Well, um, thank you for coming on to the podcast. It was an honor to have you. Um, Especially the conversations we got into. I enjoyed it, especially with how your name came to be and some of the content you had to share, especially the Grinch costume going into the store. I mean, that's priceless.
That's actually going to
So,
be at the field next weekend. So,
nice. So you're going to be at the Grinch at the field.
yep.
Very nice. With bright colors, you're going to be an easy target,
Oh,
or an easy distraction or decoy. One way of
both.
looking at it. Exactly. But yeah, it was really honored to have you on. And if it's cool with you, you're more than welcome to where I can invite you back on for another episode and we can get into
Oh,
like
yeah,
the gear, the tactics, stuff like that.
definitely.
I mean, that would be pretty awesome. And feel free to let everyone know who you are and again and what you're where how they can reach you online or either through your YouTube or your Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, just find me on YouTube at Grinch041 or Instagram and even TikTok of the same name.
All right, awesome. Good deal. All right, well, cool, man. Well, thanks again, and it was an honor, and we'll talk soon.
All right.
All right, have a good night, sir.
Have a good one, man.